Namaste. Welcome to this class about toning up your abs. So we're going to do some core work today. January is often a time for reflection over what we've eaten and our lifestyle over the Christmas period. And then it's time to shape up for the new year. So I'll help with that. And also it really helps focus the mind by working on the core. You might want a block or a book to put between the knees just for one posture today. It's not essential. You can imagine it's there. So have that next to your yoga mat if you've got one handy. And I think we're going to start from lying down today. So come to laying on your back with your knees bent and the feet flat on the floor. And let's rest the hands lightly on the belly with the elbows resting on the ground. You can either have the knees resting together with the feet wider apart, or have the knees pointing straight up into the air, parallel with each other. Up to you what's most comfortable. You can even stretch the legs out long if you want to. And let's breathe here for a moment. So take some nice, deep, slow breaths, closing your eyes if that's okay for you, and feeling your belly rise and fall under your hands. So tap in with yourself, how you're feeling, how your energy is. Allow these few breaths to center yourself, bringing yourself right into the present moment. And from this posture, we can start some gentle rocks of the pelvis. So on the inhale, I want you to feel nice and relaxed. Notice maybe there's a little bit of an arch under the lumbar spine. And on the exhale, draw the belly down towards the spine, down towards the floor, and that lifts the tailbone slightly up. Inhale, and that arch will return into the back. Exhale, draw the belly down towards the floor, flattening the back on the floor. So these gentle pelvic tilts backwards and forwards, you can start to make them more exaggerated if you want to, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the thighs, feeling these core muscles gradually engaging. So we're talking about around the front of the tummy, the sides of the tummy, and the back of that area, the hips, the thighs, and the buttocks. And we want to engage all of these muscles on the exhale, mostly working, I think, today on the exhale, engaging the core, inhale, releasing it. So bring that pelvis back into a neutral posture and take your knee up over your chest, the right knee to start with. Link the fingers in front of the shin. And again, on an inhale, be relaxed. On the exhale, draw the knee down towards the chest. Engage the tummy muscles. Draw the core down towards the floor. Inhale, let the knee float away a little bit. Exhale, engage the core, draw the knee in. Maybe you start lifting your head so that the nose comes towards the knee. Inhale, relaxing the head down, the knee a little bit away. So on the exhale, bringing the nose towards the knee. And on the inhale, releasing. One more time on this side. This time, hold the position. So if you've lifted the head, hold it there for a breath, in and out, squeezing the knee down towards your chest. Good. Inhale again. Exhale, and then release. Inhale, let the foot drop down to the floor. And notice if one side feels a little bit more awake now than the other side. We're going to even that out. So linking your fingers together, And bending the left knee, draw it over the tummy. Inhale there, exhale, squeeze it down. Good. Just letting your body become aware of what you're doing. Inhale, exhale, draw the knee in, maybe lifting the nose towards the knee. Be careful not to crank the neck when you're doing this. So the inhale relaxes and releases. The exhale, we want the work to be in the abdomen. So take it down there rather than in the neck. Inhale, releases and relaxes. Last one, exhale, then draw up the knee, and we're going to hold this for a breath. Inhaling, exhaling here, and then inhale, release the knee back down. So anytime in between these sequences, you're welcome to do whatever you need to release any tension in the body. So you might want to lift the feet off the floor, have the hands resting lightly on the knees and circle the knees. So that gets a little hip massage going on. One way, then the other. You might want to take the arms above the head and stretch the legs out long. This stretches out the tummy. So I'll make suggestions in between sequences, but you do whatever you would like to do to release the work. We're going to stretch the body out next. So check that you've got room above your head to stretch your arms overhead, and that you can stretch your legs out long and point your toes. And when you've arranged yourself in that way, I'm going to start again. Feet flat on the floor, knees bent, hands down by the hips, palms face down. On an inhale, I want you to stretch out the legs as you take the arms up and overhead. Reach out through the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers. On the exhale, bend the knees and bring the knees right up over the chest, maybe lifting the arms up and resting the hands on the shins. The exhale, sorry. Inhale, open yourself out, nice stretch in the body. Exhale, bring the knees in, hug them in. Inhale is opening the body. Exhale, closing it. And I want you to be using the core muscles to press yourself down into the ground and bring everything into the center. One more time. Inhale lengthens you out nice and long. Stretch, full body stretch through fingertips and toes. And then on the exhale, we're going to hold it. So knees come up over the chest, hands rest on the shins. And then inhale there. And see if you can bring it in even more. Exhale, engage everything. Tummy, lift the pelvic floor, squeeze the glutes, feel the body engaging, and then release. Let the feet drop down to the floor. Let the head and the neck relax. A little wiggle of the shoulders and the hips maybe. And we're going to windscreen wiper out the legs. So hands can stay on the hips or come out nice and wide to give yourself some space. Feet hip width apart on the mat. And we start with the knees pointing to the ceiling. Inhaling there. As you exhale, let the knees drop over to the right hand side. Inhale them up to the center. Exhale, dropping over to the left hand side. And you can continue that for a few breaths, either following the breath with the movement, or you might want to do that a little bit quicker, moving the legs from side to side, releasing the work. Well done. And then come to feet flat on the floor again, knees bent. And I want you to lift the feet off the floor so that the thighs are perpendicular to the floor and the shins are parallel to the floor. So you've got your legs bent at the knees, 90 degrees. Flex the feet. This engages the muscles in the legs. And the idea is to keep the neck and the head relaxed. Again, We're focusing on the core work here. I want you to interlace your fingers and place them behind your head, so cradling the skull on the floor and taking the elbows out nice and wide. You are welcome to keep the head resting in this position, or there's an option to lift it. First of all, we'll do this work with just the movement in the legs. So I want you to inhale here, just as you are, resting on the floor. Draw the belly down towards the spine. As you exhale, I want you to take the right leg out, extending through the heel, so straightening the right leg, keeping the left knee bent. Inhale, bring the knees back in line. Exhale, extend the left leg out nice and straight, pushing through the heel and the ball of the foot. Inhale, brings the knees back, let that tummy relax. So you can keep going like this, or on the exhale now, anchoring that core muscles, the tummy, the abdominals, stretch your right leg out and take your right elbow towards your right knee. Again, be careful not to crank the neck. The inhale brings everything back to neutral, rest the head on the ground. Exhale, straighten the left leg, maybe the left elbow comes towards the right knee. Good. Inhale into the resting pose again. So keep going like this. Right leg out, right elbow towards the knee maybe. Inhale, rest, knees come together. Exhale, left leg extends, maybe left elbow to right knee. Good. We're going to do 2 more each side. Right leg extends, left elbow to left knee. Inhale, release. Left leg extends, left elbow to right knee. Well done. You can always rest. I should have said that before, instead of doing all these repetitions. This time, right leg extends, right elbow to left knee, and stay there for a breath, unless your body is telling you otherwise. And after the next exhale, really drawing those abdominals in. Inhale, release down, head rests down, knees to center. Last time on the other side now, push out, straighten that left leg, left elbow towards the right knee. Stay there for the inhale. Exhale, can you draw those abdominals in anymore? And then inhale, bend both knees, relax the head down. And again, do whatever feels nice. It might be good to stretch the tummy out. It might be nice to hug the knees in. You decide what's going to be best for you in between each of these different sequences. Got one more thing to do lying on our back before I'm going to bring you a little more upright. And this is going to stretch out the front of the belly. We're going to do bridge pose in a slightly different way to normal with the breathing. So if you've got a block or a book, it's really nice to place something between your knees, because that gives you a focus, something to squeeze against. Not only is that great for the thigh muscles, it will be working them hard, but it keeps the knees pointed up to the sky, which is great on the back. It's easy to let the knees drop out to the side with bridge pose sometimes. So feet flat on the floor, walk those heels up towards the hips, just pausing before the heels lift off the floor. So you want them nice and close to the hips. Have the hands palm down beside the hips and try and keep the head and neck relaxed. We're going to press down into the feet. Inhale. On the exhale, lift the hips. So we're lifting on an exhale, lifting the hips up. On the inhale, we're staying up in bridge pose, opening the front of the body, lifting those hips a little bit more. And on the exhale, we're going to use the core muscles, especially the abdominals and the glutes, to slowly lower down, rolling down the spine if you can, Release when you get to the floor, let the muscles rest for an inhale. Exhale, draw the belly down, press into the feet, rise up. Lifting the hips into bridge, stay there for the inhale. Nice open body, maybe you can lift even a little higher, and then exhale, control the descent down. Okay, so again, 2 or 3 more times here. You choose if you want a break. The inhale, we rest. The exhale, we lift. Inhale, we open. The exhale, we descend. So it's the exhale where you do the work with this posture, using the core to make the movement slow and controlled. So we want to feel the muscles working when we're lifting up and when we're rolling back down in our bridge pose. For the last couple of breaths, if you want to, you could stay up in bridge, really working on engaging all the muscles, drawing everything into the center, hugging the spine on the exhales. Feel the thighs fire up, the glutes fire up, and then a slow, mindful lowering down. On your next exhale, let that be your last one, coming out of bridge pose. You can let go of the block, release that, place that to one side. We won't need it again. And again, think about what you would like to do to let that sequence go. Maybe widening the feet and some windscreen wiper movements with the knee. Sometimes hugging the knees over the chest for a little rock side to side is nice, or hands on the kneecaps and rotate the knees around in a circle one way and the other. So we'll be making our way to sitting. You're welcome to do that by rolling onto your side and pressing yourself up, or there's a little option here to get some extra core work going. If we lay on our back and draw the knees up over the chest, then we can start getting a little rocking movement going from head to tailbone instead of side to side, lifting the head up slightly and then lifting the tailbone up slightly. Engage the core muscles, and like a rocking horse, you'll start rocking backwards and forwards. Maybe you get up to the top and you pause and then rock down again. Maybe you lift your hands and arms forward. Good. So you might feel the work that goes on in the core muscles doing this. When you've had enough of that, then you can sit up, cross your ankles, and come to sitting. Well done. So we just have a little stretch out before we come to all fours. Comfortable seated position. Inhale, lift the arms up and take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Reach up with that left hand, maybe coming into a little side stretch, but we're just trying to open out the body just a little. Good. And then swap hands, stretching up through the right hand now, maybe coming over a little to the side. Good. And then release. And come to all fours, kneeling, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. You're welcome to do the first part of this next sequence with your forearms on the floor instead, if you prefer. If you want to take the weight off the wrists, that's fine. So we'll start with some cat-cow movements. Nice long spine. Gaze is either between the hands or just in front of them at the front of your yoga mat. Keep that neck nice and long and in line with the spine. And we're going to inhale here, exhale, engage the core, round the spine up towards the ceiling and drop the head. Inhale, let the hips tilt forward, let the belly go. Lift the chest, lift the head. Exhale, round into cat. Good. Inhale, cow pose. Now we can take this into a little bit more of a fluid movement. So as you exhale into your next cat stretch, take the hips back towards the heels. You don't have to come all the way to child, but it's on the way there. As you inhale, come forward, bend the elbows a little, lift the head and lift the chest forward. As you exhale, round the back, push into the hand, take the tummy back to the spine and hips go back towards the heels. So now start making this a little more fluid. So as you come forward, when you get to the end of that movement, you round the back and exhale back towards child. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. So we've got a circular motion going with the body. Couple more times round. And then coming to stillness in tabletop, all fours. Lovely. So I want you to do a balancing table now, taking the right leg back. You might want to bring the knees a little closer together. That sometimes helps with the balance. So take the right foot back, level with the hips, and point the toes down towards the ground. You might have to inwardly rotate your thigh a little bit to do that. The foot tends to want to stick out to one side. You can be on forearms, remember. We're going to inhale here, reaching back through that heel. As we exhale, bring the knee forward and look towards it. Inhale, stretch the leg out nice and long. Reach out through the crown of the head. Exhale, you can point the toes on the exhale if you want to, as the knee comes underneath. Good, stretching out on the inhale. This is the last exhale where we look towards the knee. If you're on your forearms, come up to support yourself, because this time, as we exhale, we're going to bring the knee and the foot through so that it's between the hands. You can shuffle, lift it there, and we end up in this low lunge position. Good stuff. Always make sure that your feet are on train tracks rather than a tightrope. So left and right tracks. We're going to bring the hands onto the thigh, and you're welcome to stay here. Bring the hands to the heart, or lengthen the hands out in front of you. At any point, you can go back to one of those other options. I want you to start taking the belly away from the thigh whilst pushing down into that front foot. You should feel the whole of the front leg and thigh engage. Fire up the abdominals and the glutes. So nice deep breaths here. Again, remember, you can bring the hands back in front of the heart. Deep, slow breaths. Nice and focused. One more inhale. Exhale, hands come down. Frame that front foot. And then see if you can take the foot all the way back through to the balancing table without coming to kneeling. So extend the foot out. Nice big inhale. And then slowly, slowly, slowly start lowering the toes towards the floor on the exhale. Control it. And there should be some work going on there. When the toes touch down, then you release the effort. Bring yourself to kneeling. Notice how that feels. You've got a couple of breaths. You can sway the hips. You can sink back to child pose and rotate the wrists, whatever you want to do before we do that on the other side. I want you, whilst we're doing these movements, to think about which parts of the body you're engaging, because there'll be an option a bit later on to do this a little bit higher off the ground, a little bit more effort. So let's take the left leg back for now. Heel, hip height, toes pointing down. Again, that little bit of inward rotation. You might feel the buttock engage a little bit more there. Reach out through the crown of the head. Inhale. Exhale, bring the knee underneath the chest, look towards it, maybe pointing the toes. Inhale, reach behind, stretch out through the heel. Exhale, bring the knee forwards, really arching the back, working those abdominals. Inhale, take the foot back, Last time, bringing the knee underneath. And now if you are on your forearms, bring yourself up onto your hands, inhaling, taking the foot back and exhaling, swinging the knee and the foot all the way through to land between the hands near the front of your mat. Good stuff. Get yourself balanced, press down into that front foot, lift the hands onto the thigh. And here, notice if you have a tendency to sway the back. The hips might like leaning forward, but we want to tuck the tailbone and then start working the abdominals. So engage the core to support you nice and straight, maybe bringing the hands to the heart, maybe lifting them out so that the upper arms are level with the ears. Draw everything back away from this front thigh, push the front foot into the ground. And that back foot could be tucked or it could be flat on the floor. Let that do some work too, feeling like it's really grounding you down, keeping you stable. Nice deep breaths. Can that belly come any further away from the thigh? Inhale to finish and exhale to bring the hands down either side of the front foot. And then taking some weight in your hands and that back knee, see if you can stretch the left foot all the way back through, extending through the heel. And then think about these toes. They're pointing down to the ground. You're going to slowly, slowly lower them down with the legs still extended until the toes touch, and then release into kneeling. Again, a couple of breaths, let go of the work. So make any movements that feel good to you, coming back to child maybe. Good stuff. And then I want you to slither onto your bellies. So come down onto the tummy. And we'll think about, we've got two alternatives here. We could work in Sphinx to puppy dog pose or plank to down dog. So I'm going to show you first of all, if we all come into Sphinx pose with the forearms on the floor, stretching the toes back, looking forward. So this is nice and open for the front of the body. Roll the shoulders down and back, draw the shoulder blades down, and we're opening the front of the body into this back bend. Then I want you to press into the forearms, into the knees, start lifting the hips and lift them back, come onto your hands, and you're in puppy dog pose. So this half down dog pose, you've now got a nice stretch along the back of the body, under your arms and all down the spine. Extend the crown of the head forward, the hips up and backwards. So on the inhale, rest down on your forearms, come forward into Sphinx. You can hover the belly off the floor or you can drop down right onto the floor. On the exhale, push back into your half down dog, your puppy dog pose. You can do that twice more. Inhaling, forearms into Sphinx. Exhaling back into puppy dog. So think about whether you want to keep going with this, or next time you come back into your puppy dog pose, you might walk your hands a little bit towards you, ready for down dog. So hands in front of the shoulders, tuck your toes and lift up into down dog. So down dog can be your exhale, and then float yourself forward until your shoulders come over your wrists, plank pose. On the inhale, exhale back to downward facing dog. So you're now moving between Sphinx and puppy dog, or plank and down dog. Can you engage those core muscles to draw you back into downward facing dog? Don't have to have straight legs at the end of it, but start straight in plank. And you can always drop the knees to the floor in plank. So you come forward into plank, you can drop the knees there and then come back to down dog. Option to rest or keep going. Couple more times. Well done. And then everybody, I want you to start walking your feet towards your hands. Coming into a forward fold in your own way. The front of your mat, let it be a soft forward fold. Knees bend, arms relax. You can hold opposite elbows or let them dangle. Head is nice and heavy. Release the neck with a gentle shake and a nod. Well done. And we're going to press down now into the feet. Get them anchored and grounded into the floor. Feet hip width apart. Bend the knees nice and deeply. Swing the arms forward so that they're parallel with the floor and come into chair pose. Like you're sitting back on a chair. Good stuff. And breathe here. Inhaling. Exhale, can you sit down a little deeper? Good stuff. Inhale. Exhale, can you sit down a little lower? We've got one more to go. Really press into your feet. Try and equal out the weight. Inhaling. Exhale. How low can you go? Well done. We're going to inhale here and then forward fold. Come back into your forward bend. Now, if you can, reach for your block. I've got another bit we can do with the block. If you haven't got a block, it does not matter. You don't need it. But this might be quite a nice addition to the next thing we're going to do. If you've got a block or a book, then push down into the floor so that it feels a nice height to have a forward fold at. So it might be on this middle height of a block. You might prefer to have it on the high height or on the low height or not at all. So if your fingers and hands reach the floor, no problem, that's fine. But a block can be really nice to push into, get those legs a bit straighter, feel like you can engage the muscles because you've got something to push against. So feet hip width apart. I want you to grab the block or book at the side, bend the knees, inhale and come all the way up. So up to you whether you round the back and curl up or come up with a straight back. Lift the block high above your head and bring it in front of the heart. So we're going to do the beginning and end moves of a sun salutation, up and down into a forward fold and a half forward fold. So on the inhale, reach the hands up with your block if you've got one. Exhale, hinge from the hips, bend forward with your block, come down into your forward fold. Press into the floor with your block or your hands. Inhale, rise up halfway. So lift the head, lift the heart, extend out through the back and the legs. You can use the block really to push into, and then bow down. Relax and release, bow down towards the floor. Grab the block by the sides. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Rising up, lifting the block high above your head, if that's okay for your arms and shoulders. Exhale, bring the block in front of the heart. Twice more. You go in your own breath length, your own rhythm. Bowing down, pressing into the floor, lengthening out into a half forward fold, this lifted forward fold, and then revisiting it before reaching up to the sky one more time. So working your way through these movements, using the breath. Think of opening the body, engaging muscles, and relaxing muscles. Well done. When you're next bowing down, you can release your block and leave it there if you want to, or if you've come up to standing, let it go. And we'll all meet together in mountain pose. No rush to get there. Rolling your shoulders back, drawing the shoulder blades down, palms facing front. Lovely, feeling open, lifted. Good stuff. Okay, so we're going to come back now onto either kneeling or downward facing dog. So come to the front of your mat, bring your hands together. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, bow it down. Touch the floor with your fingertips and step back into down dog. You can come immediately to kneeling or you can stay there, walking out the legs, using the breath to breathe into any stretch that you're feeling. We're going to do the same sequence with the leg lifting up and then coming through into a lunge position. And it's your choice at each stage how far you are off the ground. So you can start from kneeling or you can stay in down dog here. We're going to lift the right foot up and behind us. Heel comes hip height, just like it did before. We're either in kneeling or in three-legged dog. Inhale, length through the body. Exhale, knee comes under the chest, look towards it. Inhale, push it back again. Take that right foot back and lengthen out the crown of the head. Exhale, tuck everything in, really rounding the back. Just going to do it once more. So we're stretching out behind us. And this is the one now where we're swinging the knee and the foot forward. If it doesn't land between the hands, it's no problem. Shuffle, lift it there. And again, make sure that you've got your feet on train tracks, left and right track. Up to you, whether you want to drop that back knee, maybe pad it up to be comfortable, or stay here in high lunge. High lunge is going to be more challenging. You've got to fire up those core muscles to keep you here. So either from high lunge or low lunge, bring the hands onto the front thigh. Okay, so you know what you're doing here. You can drop the knee at any time, that back knee. You're drawing the belly away from the thigh. You can bring the hands in front of the heart or extend them out next to the ears. Good, focus. Keep that breath flowing in and out, nice and smooth. Press into that front foot. We want that knee over the front ankle. Can you draw the belly back? One more breath. And then release the hands down either side of the front foot, either dropping the back knee and come back through kneeling, or press into the hands. Take that right foot all the way into three-legged dog. Can you take that foot all the way behind? Really nice. So you're either kneeling or up in three-legged dog. Slowly, slowly, slowly bring that back foot down to the floor until the toes touch down. Good. And then you've got a couple of breaths. You can either stay in down dog, walk it out, or drop down to kneeling and back to child pose. Maybe sighing out the breath is a nice way to release before we think about the other side. So you can return to all fours, tabletop pose. You know what you're doing there. Or you can tuck the toes and lift the hips into downward facing dog. Again, bringing the feet a bit close together, just like when we brought our knees a little bit close together, sometimes helps the balance here. We're going to lift the left foot out behind us. Hip and heel, trying to get them in line. Toes pointing down to the floor. So little internal rotation of the thigh. Big inhale, length through the body. Exhale, knee comes under the chest, look towards it, maybe pointing those toes. And then inhale, take the foot back behind you, find length through the body. Exhale, bring everything in around the spine, around the core. Last time, we're extending out behind us with that left foot. And this time swinging the knee and the foot forwards, coming into a lunge, deciding whether you're going to stay up in a high lunge with back knee lifted or let that foot drop down. Well done. You can always rest. Bring the hands onto the thigh. If you're still with me, let's engage those abdominals. Yay! So your hands can either come in front of the heart or the arms extend out in line with the ears. Draw the tummy back, the tailbone down. Press into that front foot, the knee over the ankle. Can you give me a smile whilst you're doing that? Okay, maybe that's a step too far. Well done. Breathe into it. Think of all the good we're doing to our tummy and our focus. If this doesn't fire you up for the new year, nothing will. Inhale to finish. Exhale. Hands come down. And can we step all the way back, either to down dog or dropping that back knee, coming into a balancing table pose. Nice breath there. And then slowly, slowly, slowly lowering the toes down to the floor with control, trying not to rush it. And then release down to kneeling and take a well-earned rest in child pose or laying on your tummy in crocodile pose. Up to you. Good. Deep breaths here. Sigh out some of those exhales. Let's come back up to all fours, tabletop. Again, you can come into your forward fold from here, or you can tuck the toes, lift into down dog, and walk yourself forward into forward fold. Make it nice and soft. You've earned it. So let the belly release onto the thighs, the arms dangle, the head feel nice and released. You can come up through a chair pose if you want to, but I'm going to be nice to you. You've got the option to roll up or rise up without that middle section if you want to. If you want to give yourself some extra work, you can take a breath in chair and then stretch up. I leave that up to you. Good. It's time to see how our balance is doing today. So we want a wall or a sofa or chair to your left if you're going to use something to balance against. And we'll start on the left. We're not going to do tree pose. We're going to do a leg lift. So push down into your left foot. Let's start with our hands on our hips. Get the weight down into our left foot. And when you've shifted your weight, bring the right toes just to balance or hover off of the mat, just off of the mat. Take your focus, so get your drishti, your point that you're going to stare at, and maybe start lifting the knee so that the knee is hip height. Flex the foot. That engages all those muscles. The standing knee, there's a little bit of a bend in it. Your choice to stay here for the next few breaths. You can bring the hands to the heart or lift them up into the air. And then if you just want to fire up the core a little more, you can extend the foot out so the leg straightens. Draw the hip back towards you. And if this starts making you arch your lower back, drop the foot a little bit. So nice deep breaths, couple more if you can. Well done. Keep the focus with your eyes, focus with your mind. And then if you've straightened the leg, bend the knee, bring it back in, and then take the hands and the foot down to the floor. Well done. So see, we can Always engage those core muscles a little more. All optional, remember. Lovely. Let's put our hands back on our hips and set ourselves up for the other side. So the right leg is going to be our balancing leg. The left toes start by just hovering near or on the mat. Take your drishti, your focus, and then decide how high you're going to lift that foot off the ground. So maybe hip height, flexing the foot will help engage everything. Keep that work going. Lovely. So maybe the hands come to the heart. Maybe you want to stretch them out overhead. Keep the breath going. The tailbone is long. The abdominals are drawn in. And then see if you want to straighten that leg. And what that does to the balance, does that send you off kilter? Tricky. Can you draw the hip back? Keep those hips in line. Use the breath to anchor you in this pose. Couple more breaths here if you can. When you're ready, bending the knee. See if you can bring it back in. Well done. It's often when we come out that we just lose it, that last breath, and rest down. Good. And have a shake out, have a wiggle. Let those muscles have a rest. Good. Before we come down to one of my favorite core firing up postures. So hands to the heart. You've got a choice of how to come down. So you can fold down in our usual way through a forward fold, or for fun, you can cross your legs, keep the hands in front of the heart, and see if you can sit down cross-legged without using the hands. Okay, you can use the hands if you want to. Slowly, slowly sitting down. Remember, you can come out of this and bow forwards and sit on the floor in any way that you want. Can you do it with control? Well done. In some way or another, we will all end up on the floor. Seated, well done. And then extend the legs out for Dandasana, staff pose. And think about our posture. So this pose, we'll put the hands on the ground. We want to lift the heart and we want to lengthen up through the crown of the head. We're going to come into boat pose next, but I want you to remember the feeling of this posture. So the legs are extended, you're pushing out through your heels and through the balls of your feet, and you're extending through the crown of your head, and the heart is open, the chest is open, the shoulders are back. Okay, so let's bend our knees, have the feet flat on the floor. See if you can keep that feeling. Boat pose is the one where we tilt back onto our hips, and there's loads of variations of it. So take the one that suits you today. So inhaling here, lift the heart. Exhale, engage the core, tilt back. Hands can stay on the floor, or they could come behind the thighs, holding there. Couple of breaths just to see how our boat pose feels for us today. And then release out of it. We're going to do it twice more, holding for 3 breaths. Okay, so you pick and choose any of the options as I offer them, or stay in that original form. So the inhale prepares us, lengthens through the spine. The exhale, you take the tilt. Hands could be on the floor, they could be on the back of the thighs, or you could let go. Push out through the balls of the feet and the heels, and maybe the shins are parallel with the floor. But inhaling, exhaling, a couple more breaths. If you feel a little shake, that's fine. If it feels too much for the body, any pain, then you release it. Choose one of the other options or come out. Release on an exhale. Let go. We've got one more to do. It's up to you, remember, to rest or to take any options that are suitable for you. Inhale to prepare, lift the heart. Exhale, rock back. The core is engaged, the glutes are engaged. Nice length in the spine still. Open the heart forward. perhaps you straighten the legs and push out through the balls and the heels of the feet. Okay, I can feel a little shake going on in my thighs, in the tummy. Nice deep breaths to keep this going. Check that you haven't rounded the back. Heart is still open. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, release. And you'll be glad to know that's the last sequence that we'll be working hard in. Now it's time to start cooling down. Gather anything you might want in a minute for relaxation. And again, it's up to you if you want to come to lying with the assistance of your arms and legs, that's fine. Or you might choose to come into a little mini boat pose and slowly, slowly release down to the floor. Finally, letting your feet touch the ground. Let's have the knees bent, the arms out to the side, and take some windscreen wipers. So letting the knees drop to the right on the exhale. Inhaling up, then over to the left on the exhale. Good. Couple more times. If you want to speed it up for a few more breaths, that's fine. You might like to hug your knees or take the knees around in circles. So get used to asking your body what would feel nice. Easing your way down into a posture that you find relaxing. So the knees could be stay bent and rest together, or the legs could be straight with the toes dropping out to the side. Letting the eyes close. Turning the palms up to the sky. Maybe bringing the hands a little closer to the hips. Maybe you want to rest the hands on the belly. And scan down through the body. Notice sensations. Absorb the work that we've done. And allow the muscles to release and let go. And that's easier said than done. Sometimes we struggle to actually let go. Sometimes we don't even realize where we've been holding tension. So can you check in with the jaw, that there's a little bit of space between the teeth, that the tongue is relaxed. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears back to the floor. And today I want to start with the tummy. I want you to imagine a warm, softly glowing light. Visualize that in whatever form it comes to you and allow it to settle into your abdomen. Imagine this gently glowing light, warming, soothing, relaxing your tummy muscles. And this is around the front of your belly, around the sides, and all across the back. As you imagine this warm, soothing, softening. And then gradually it's going to start spreading down around your pelvis, your hips, around the sacrum, warming, softening, allowing the hips to relax. Then traveling down your thighs, the fronts and the backs of the thighs, these strong muscles here. Imagine them warming and letting go. They can be fully relaxed as this warm glow travels down your legs, over the knees, down over the shins and calves, through your ankles into your feet. The soles of your feet and the tops of your feet feel warm and relaxed, down to the tips of your toes, and they feel soft. The whole of your feet and your legs, the lower part of your body feels like it can release and let go in this warm glow. And then thinking again of this warm glow starting in your belly. Let it spread up this time, up over the tummy, around the back, up the front of the ribs and the back of the ribs, up over your chest and around the shoulder blade. Feel this glow traveling up to the tops of your collarbones and around the backs of your shoulders. So the whole of your back, the whole of your torso, down the front and back, feels warm and relaxed. Let that warm glow travel up into your shoulders, spreading across the tops of your shoulders, down your arms, under your armpits, around the upper arms, over the elbows, down into the lower arms, through the wrists, into your hands. The palms of your hands and the backs of your hands feel warm and relaxed. The fingers effortlessly held, so curling gently, resting either on the floor or your body, effortlessly. And let that warmth travel back up your arms, around your shoulders one more time, really feeling this warmth like a massage across your shoulders, traveling up through your neck, over the front of your throat, around the back of your head, and over your face. So the jaw is warm, the lips, the skin around your nose and cheeks feels soft and warm. Around the eyes and eyelids, up over the eyebrows, soft, gentle, warm light spreading from the middle of the eyebrows out over your forehead, around your temples, and all up over the crown of your head. So your whole body now is glowing with this gently relaxing, releasing, soothing, warm light. Take a few lovely, deep, slow breaths in here. And become aware of your breath, the movement of your body with the breath, the rising and falling of your belly. Feel like you could send the breath down into the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers, and allow the breath to bring tiny movement. Start wiggling fingers and toes, and then let those movements become a little bigger, perhaps stretching or moving the limbs. If you'd like to, hugging the knees in or having a whole body stretch, taking the arms above the head and the legs out long, making your way slowly, slowly onto your side and resting there. And keeping your eyes closed, if that's okay for you, gently press yourself up to sitting in a comfortable seated position. I want you to keep the eyes closed a minute longer and rub the hands together. So create some heat between the palms. And we're going to take that idea of warming and soothing the body and place the palms lightly over the eyes. Rest the hands on the face so that you feel the warmth traveling from your hands into your eyes. Soothing and relaxing. And let your eyes open into this darkness, this warmth. Slowly letting the fingers spread, a little more light coming in, and let them drop away from your face and bring the hands together in front of your heart. Take a lovely deep breath in there and take a bow to yourself and to those core muscles which you've really worked hard today. Think of the new year ahead and to your focus on your body and your mind, remembering to be gentle and kind. Namaste.